I'm going to do a quick overview of the G.I. Joe Hero minifigure set. People have already done this already, but I just feel like I just need to do another one that's kind of coming from an old school G.I. Joe fan from back in the 80s. So this is the box. You're getting 12 unpainted minis in here, and it's not bad. If you're going to get into the RPG game, I think this is going to be cool. Thing of note, Roadblock's on the box. He's not in the box. There's no figure for Roadblock. He's on the box because Roadblock is popular, and therefore he will sell. That's it. That's the only reason why. There's no other reason why Roadblock needs to be on this. Front, sides, blah. On the back, you get this nice little embossing back here for the ink treatment. So, but the figures themselves look pretty cool. When you get it and you open it, they come in this plastic tray. This makes it feel like it's really kind of cheap because of the clear plastic. If it was black plastic, it would feel like there was more there. I feel that's a little bit of a letdown, but yeah, that, hey, how you doing? Anyway, so this is basically taped together. I've already cut this guy here, and we get our little figures. So here is number 1, Mutt and Junkyard. And the sculpt's really good. And this is kind of that softer plastic. You can see it flex there. So, Mutt and Junk. Gung Ho Joe. He likes you on all your little hats. Of course, there has to be a Snake Eyes because I don't hate Snake Eyes, but like Wolverine, he's just overly saturated for the hobby. Surprisingly, rock and roll. Although when you kind of look at him from this angle, that hair, he could just be a Sasquatch. But yeah, rock and roll. That's a pull. We have Jinx, which that doesn't look too bad. Lady J. Again, they're all really good sculpts. Airtight. And to all you people who are not familiar with G.I. Joe, no, his gun is not bent, and no, it is not a gun. This is a sniffer that is used to detect chemicals. It doesn't push chemicals out, it detects chemicals. He's the one that goes around that says, yeah, it's okay for you to walk through this area. Although, you know, imagination, whatever, you can have it do whatever you want. Scarlet. Crossbow looks good. Bazooka with a rocket launcher that's to scale, unlike the one that came with the toy. And he does have the 14 molded into his shirt, so, you know, go Pats. And then version 2 of Stalker. And, you know, it's version 2 because, well, he's got a coat on. If he came with a kayak that was attached to his backpack, then you definitely would know it was version 2. But yes, this is version 2 of Stalker. Or at least the current, you know, iteration of G.I. Joe figures. This is Duke. And again, the guns are all going to be the semi-futuristic versions of them because you can't give them actual guns. Because that just promotes guns. And as much as they are the Army figures, in this day and age, the last thing that we need is a bunch of guns brandished to our kids. Which is what I say, and then she's got stuff that actually looks like guns. Yeah, that happens. So, yeah, Cover Girl, and that is 4 for 4. Every female G.I. Joe figure has been represented in this one box. So, yeah, that's the sad reality of G.I. Joe. How will they make new female figures? Are they going to go with Coral? Are they going to go with Mara? Shooter? And which version of Shooter? So, yeah, like I said, the box feels really empty because of the clear plastic. But this is RPG stuff, and I have a feeling that hopefully they'll make more, because this is a Heroes mini set, which means that they may be making a Villains mini set. And it's mini set 1, so maybe they're going to go with 2, 3, 5. We don't know. There's a lot of characters to pull from. Again, unfortunately, we've got all the girls. And another thing too is comparison. These figures all work pretty well. So they're standard kind of mini height. We're going to come down here. If you go onto Etsy, you will see on Etsy there are figurines that you can get, third party. How do they scale? Well, they're all pretty much in that same range. And they all work pretty good together. And there's even Joe figures, which I don't have a stand for him yet. And as you can see, these are in the process of getting painted. We got a zenithal on them. But for scale, you know what? We're going to go over here, Cover Girl and Hawk. And we just have my poster putty on his foot. Yep, it is on his foot. So for scale, that's about right. So if you want to supplement this figure set with stuff off of Etsy, I highly recommend doing that. I think it will work well. There is a couple bad guy groups that a person has made that several sellers have been making renders for. And there's a good guy set, which is what this Hawk is from. And I don't know if it was Kismet or what, but the set that usually you can get off of eBay comes with usually 9 pairs of legs. And those 9 pair of legs will make everybody, and then you can not make a Stalker, a Rock and Roll, or the snake eyes, and you've got a Scarlet already from this set, you will have Hawk, Breaker, Clutch, Grand Slam, Flash, Stealer, Grunt, Short Fuse, and Zap out of that kit. So you can get the original 13 lineup. I think that's kind of neat. I think that's kind of a nice little thing. It clearly wasn't done intentionally, because if you get the kit, most of the legs on the figurines, as you can see here with Hawk, those are Snake Eyes' legs, and most of them are Snake Eyes based legs. So, person who made it just really liked Snake Eyes and wanted to make a bunch of Snake Eyes. So anyway, there you go. Minifigs ahoy. It would be interesting to see if Renegade Studios end up you don't belong in that group. If Renegade Studios gets more licenses to make more figures, and hopefully, you know, get a whole set. These all look really good. Everybody seems a little bulky, a little thick. The one thing that I would really have liked is for Mutt and Junkyard. Junkyard is his own person. And it would be really neat if he would have either been on his own figure stand, but then you would have 13 unpainted minis, or there was a way to set this up that you could split this apart, because Junkyard is not always going to be with Mutt. Mutt will send Junkyard out individually. They can attack separate creatures. That's the only thing that I think I would kind of liked from this, is to be able to separate Junkyard from here. And, you know, maybe that's just a simple case of cutting the figure stand and making it so that you can take it apart, put it together, and move it around. It's hard to say, but that would have been a nice to have. So if they do one in the future with Crocmaster, with Spirit, with Shipwreck, Dusty version 2, anybody who has an animal companion, if they were able to make it so that the animal could separate, or you just make another set where it's just the animals themselves. So there you go. Hero Miniature Set 1.